Hi, it's me Jacqueline. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to the channel, then please subscribe my channel and visit my Patreon page, link in the description. When graduation came, Toshi graduated toward the top of her class at MIT. Vanessa graduated with a degree in education. And Sam graduated with his pre-law degree. The following year, Sam planned on attending the law school at Georgetown. Vanessa was going to teach and work on her master's. In fact, Vanessa applied for and was given a teaching position at a school that the children of the staff of various embassies used. The day after Toshi was home from college, she and Vanessa went shopping for a wedding gown. And Sam pouted when they wouldn't let him go along. The weddings were scheduled for mid-August. And the week before was a madhouse, as there were going to be two ceremonies. One on Friday evening and one on Saturday afternoon. The Friday ceremony was going to be the Shinto ceremony and Saturday's the church wedding. As they had promised, Misumi's family had flown in from Japan. The Shinto ceremony was held in the same park that the engagement party was held at. Per tradition, the whole wedding party was in kimonos. Vanessa was wearing Misumi's white wedding kimono and headdress. Misumi, Miyuki, and Toshi had spent most of the afternoon at Vanessa's house getting her and themselves ready. Everyone met at the shelter and then followed the priest to the oak tree where the shrine had been set up. It was interesting that the ceremony drew a large crowd from the regulars at the park. After the ceremony, they retired to the shelter for a small reception. When Sam and Vanessa arrived back at the shelter, she removed the white kimono and was wearing Misumi's ornate red and white kimono. During the reception, Miyuki walked up to the newlyweds with an older Japanese gentleman who was dressed very formally. Miyuki said, "Vanessa and Sam, I would like you to meet an old friend, Mr. Takahashi." Vanessa and Sam bowed very deeply to Mr. Takahashi and said in unison, "Duzo yoroshiku, Takahashi-sama." Author's note: Duzo yoroshiku is a formal, "nice to meet you," and Sama is a polite Mr. Mr. Takahashi returned the bow and greeting. Miyuki continued, "Mr. Takahashi is a very special guest. He is the Japanese ambassador to the United Nations, and he used to work in the embassy here in Washington. He was kind enough to come to the wedding as a special favor to me." Miyuki left the wedding couple and Mr. Takahashi to talk. He was impressed that Vanessa wanted to have a Shinto wedding ceremony. And she explained that she felt that it would help her become a member of Sam's family. They talked for a few more minutes. Then, Mr. Takahashi excused himself with a bow and saying, "Gokeki no omedetou gozaimasu. Congratulations on your wedding." Then in English added, "I need to speak with your father before I leave." Sam looked at him a little surprised. And Vanessa looked at him with a little puzzlement. The three bowed and said sayonara. As he walked away, Vanessa turned to Sam and said, "He doesn't know my father." "I know," Sam replied. Vanessa noticed a strange look on Sam's face and asked, "What did he mean?" I'm not sure. Honey, what's going on?" "Don't be mad. But I can't tell you right now." "Why?" "I just can't." Vanessa just looked at Sam and could see a little look of worry come over him and asked, "What is wrong?" "Nothing, I hope. I need to talk to my mom for a minute." "Do you mind?" "I don't mind, as long as you're going to tell me what's going on." "I hope I can. I'll be right back." Sam left Vanessa. Luckily, Aiko and Kyoko walked up and started chatting with her. But Vanessa watched as Sam found his mom, and they talked. Sam was back with her in a few minutes, and Vanessa saw Sam's mom walk up to Miyuki and Mr. Takahashi and talk with them. Sam didn't say anything to Vanessa, but also watched the conversation. After a couple of minutes, Mr. Takahashi turned toward the couple and bowed. More people walked up to the couple to talk to them. So, Vanessa didn't get a chance to talk to Sam right away. Around 9:30, the couple decided it was time to leave. They said their goodbyes to everyone and left by limousine for Vanessa's parents' home. They were spending their wedding night there because of the second ceremony on Saturday. As they pulled away from the park, Vanessa asked, "All right, what is going on? Let's wait till we get to your parents, then I tell you." She just frowned at him. When they arrived at Vanessa's, they went to her room, and Sam was going to carry her across the threshold. She said, "Not until you tell me what's going on." He looked at her, pointed to the bedroom, and said, "It would be easier in there. It may take a while." "All right, but this had better be good." He picked her up, carried her into her bedroom, and carefully set her down on her bed. He went to kiss her, and she said, "Please tell me." He sat her on the bed, next to her, and said, "You remember that I told you my dad worked for that government agency that was known for clandestine things? And how he went on an assignment and never returned?" "Yes." "Well, that's not entirely the truth." "Oh." "But first you have to promise me that this will go no farther." "It's very important that it doesn't." "Okay, it won't go any farther." "Promise?" "I promise. And I mean no further. My dad did work for that agency, and they had an assignment for him." He went on to tell her how that his dad was also a crossdresser and was very good at becoming a very passable Japanese woman. That the agency was aware of it, and it didn't seem to bother them. They came up with a clandestine assignment for him inside the Japanese embassy, but that he had to do it as a female and be undetectable. How he had the surgery to change his appearance to that of a woman and completed the assignment. She sat there almost in disbelief as he told her the story. Then as he finished, he watched as she started getting a smile on her face and said, "Aunt Me." He just nodded yes. She started asking questions. Starting with, "How long have you known?" "Since I was about 13. So, even though you knew your dad was there, you couldn't interact with him as your dad. That must have been hard on you." "At times. But it was okay, knowing what he had done." "It didn't bother you and Toshi that the kids were always talking about your mom and Aunt Me being lesbians?" "It did, until they told us about Dad. Then we had a family secret, and we just smiled when anyone said anything. Yutsu and Paul were the best. You didn't seem to care." "We didn't. I think the three of us shared a live and let live kind of thing." "Do you think Aunt Me would talk to me about it?" "She might. Just ask her." "Enough questions for how, Mrs. Gifford." She looked at him, got a big smile, and said, "I love the sound of that, Mr. Gifford. And I love you, Mrs. Gifford." "I love you too. Help me take my kimono off." She didn't have to ask twice. He helped her remove the various parts and carefully fold them. When she was down to the last slip, she slowly removed it and was standing there in a very pretty white lace satin bra and matching thong. He just looked at her, smiled, and said, "You're beautiful." That night they celebrated their union in private. There was a knocking at their bedroom door, followed by Toshi's voice saying, "Come on, sleepyheads, it's getting late. And we have a lot to do." Followed quickly by another knock and a "come on. Up you two." Sam rolled over, looked at the clock, and it was 8 o'clock. He rolled back over and said, "Okay. Okay, we'll be right down." Vanessa looked at him and said, "What time is it?" "It's 8. The rest of Saturday morning was spent in a flurry of activity in preparation for the afternoon wedding ceremony. Sam went home to get ready. Toshi, Aiko, Kyoko, and Sue rushed Vanessa around getting ready. They all had hair appointments. Then, it took them hours getting Vanessa and themselves just so. Toshi was Vanessa maid of honor, and the other 3 were her bridesmaids. The church ceremony was scheduled for 3:30, and it almost started on time. Sam stood at the front of the church. The music started, and after the bridesmaids and maid of honor made their way down the aisle with Sam's groomsmen, the wedding march started. Vanessa, escorted by her father, started down the aisle. Sam smiled. She was wearing a very simple but elegant satin gown and a beautiful veil. Her bouquet was made of all wildflowers. The ceremony was fairly short, and there was a dinner reception for them at a nearby party center. Most of the people that were at the Shinto wedding on Friday were also at this ceremony. And, again at around 9:30, the couple decided to leave. They said goodnight to everyone, especially Masumi's family, as they would be gone when the couple arrived back from their honeymoon. Toshi gave Vanessa an especially big hug and whispered, "Big sister, Take good care of our little sister. Don't you worry, sis. I will. The limousine took the couple to a hotel just outside the airport, and they went to their room. Sam picked Vanessa up again, carried her across the threshold, and carefully deposited her in the room. She asked, "Got any more secrets, Mr. Gifford?" "None that I know of, Mrs. Gifford." She kissed him, smiled, and as she turned her back to him, she said, "Good, I don't think I could take any more. Would you help me out of this dress?" He carefully unbuttoned the many buttons down the back of the dress and about a dozen on each sleeve. She stepped out of the dress, he picked it up and carefully placed it over a chair. She turned, faced him, and allowed her slip to drop to the floor. She was standing there in a red satin lace bra, matching thing, garter belt, white stockings, and 4-inch white satin pumps. Sam smiled and said, "You're gorgeous." "But why not white?" "It's my second wedding," Vanessa said, with a grin. "I shouldn't have worn a white dress." He just shook his head. She walked back over to him, kissed him again, and said, "There's a present over on the desk for you." He looked over at the desk, and there was a box wrapped in pretty pink wrapping with a white ribbon. He looked at her, walked over, and picked up the box. "Go on. Open it," she said. He carefully unwrapped the box and removed the lid. Inside was the twin to what she was wearing. A red satin lace bra, matching thong, garter belt, and white stockings. She added, "I thought we could be twins tonight." Again, he just shook his head. "I'll go get ready for bed and you can change. Be ready when I get back." She turned and walked into the bathroom. She was back out in about 5 minutes. Sam was standing there in the bra, thong, garter belt, and white nylons. That night, they consummated their second wedding. They were gone for about a week on a honeymoon to the Caribbean. When they came back to their apartment, it looked like the Toshi gang had been there. The apartment was completely decorated in ribbons and bows, and most of the kitchen drawers were filled with rice. They vowed that she would pay. Sam's first semester of law school started, and as law school can be, it was very stressful. Vanessa continued to work at the school attended by children from the various embassies in Washington and attended night school working on her master's. But Samantha had been missing for about the first 6 weeks of the semester. One evening after class, Vanessa came home and found Sam staring out the front window of the apartment. Toshi had told her when Sam was troubled he would just stare out a window, deep in thought. She walked up behind him and wrapped her arms around him. She just held him for a while before saying, "Honey, what's wrong?" "Nothing, Sam. I know better. Toshi told me about your window thing." "My window thing?" "That when something is bothering you, you will stare out the window." "Oh, so, what's wrong?" "Law school. Law school. Yeah, the stress is really starting to get to me. You knew it was hard." "I know. But some of these profs." Vanessa's mind was working. "Honey, why don't we go for a walk? It might help." "Yeah, it just might." They just started walking to no place in particular. Just walking. After a while, they were in their favorite park and ended up at the oak tree. Vanessa said, "Let's sit for a minute." Sam sat down and helped Vanessa sit in her usual place, between his legs. They sat there for about 10 minutes before Vanessa said, "Honey, you need to relax. I can feel the tension. You know, since school started Samantha hasn't been around much. Just at bedtime." "Yeah, I know. I walk into the closet, see all of her things, and just wonder." "Wonder about what?" "Where she is. She hasn't left." "Has she?" "Oh no. She's still here. It's just that she hasn't wanted to come out of the closet." "Think it might help if she does?" "You know she always helped you relax in the past." "Yeah, maybe this weekend." Vanessa thought, he seems so down. "I've got to do something to get him out of this." They walked back home hand in hand, not talking. Sam went into the den, and Vanessa made a telephone call. Early Saturday afternoon, the doorbell rang at the apartment. Vanessa knew who it was, or was supposed to be. She opened the door, and as expected there stood Toshi. And someone else. Vanessa looked at Toshi with a questioning look. "You remember Angela, don't you, Toshi said. Yes, of course. But I thought, she's cool. In fact, she'll be a really big help with this. Besides, there's something that we have to tell you and Sam. Come on in. Toshi and Angela followed Vanessa into the apartment. Angela was carrying a rather large case, which she set down just inside the door. Vanessa asked, I thought we were going to. You know, Samantha? Down in the dumps. Nessa. It's cool. Angela does makeup and hair for one of the local theater groups. And I thought you know who would like a complete makeover. You know how things like that make a girl feel. And, besides, she knows about Sam's other side. A makeover could just be a good thing. How does she know about Sam? I told her. And, she thought it would be fun. Yeah, Toshi told me, Angela added, and I think it's really cool. And, a makeover can do wonders for a girl. Is Sam here? Toshi asked. He'll be back in about 15 minutes. I thought we could talk while he's gone. What's going on? He's really been under stress at school. Some of the law professors are really something and put it to the first-year students. And it's really gotten to him. And for some reason, Samantha hasn't really been around for weeks. To top it off, he's been doing the window thing. The window thing? Angela asked. Yeah, when he's stressed or depressed, he'll stand and stare out a window, deep in thought, Toshi said. Holds it in. Not good. No, it's not. We have to get him out of this funk before it affects his schoolwork or us, Vanessa said. Toshi says that he likes to crossdress and looks fairly good. Yeah, not too many people know about it and we would like to keep it that way. Toshi's already told me that. And it's our secret. I've heard that a lot of guys crossdress to relax. Sure is a lot better than drinking or drugs. Yeah, it can also be a lot of fun. Let's see what we can do. What did you have in mind? I was going to try and get him dressed as Samantha and go out. Maybe to dinner and a show. How about if I do a complete makeover on him? We'll treat him like he's in a spa and go the whole 9 yards on the makeup, hair, nails, clothes, etc. Then I know of a great place to go. Toshi and I'll have to go and change, and you'll need to dress up, but it will be fun. Where? Let it be my secret? Toshi, Vanessa asked. Sounds like a plan to me, Toshi said. If it helps him. I'm all for it. How much body hair does he have? Angela asked. A little, not much. Please subscribe for the next part and visit my Patreon page for early access.